Looking for him to do some great things here. The next person will be Lee Hunter, big defensive tackle from Mobile, Alabama. I've been recruiting him since 9th grade. Got a good history with him. Know his family pretty well. Very excited about him. He's a big human being and give us a big body up front. You can't have enough of those guys, those defensive tackles, that can cover our guys up so we can make plays and play in the backfield. So very excited about Lee Hunter. Terence Lewis. Terence Lewis, a highly recruited linebacker from out of Miami. We have a history with each other as well. I recruited him when I was at another school and built a relationship then. So once he got into the portal, we just kind of jumped back on that relationship and had a lot of schools going after him. And he chose to come here, and excited to have him bring speed to the room, bring some explosion to the room. Just really, really excited to have Terrence. And then KD McDaniel. KD McDaniel is coming from Kentucky. He gives us some juice off the edge, that pass rusher that we need. Losing Big Cat, just getting a guy that can generate some pass rush. He's a guy that we're very excited about from South Georgia. He's a guy, when you're watching his film, has a really good skill set, can bend off the edge, can get to the quarterback, and very excited about him. He's a guy that has time on task, a veteran guy. He played 30 snaps in the bowl game. And, again, very excited about all four guys that we're bringing in. We're bringing these guys in to play. Obviously, you got to compete. We don't hand anything out. But when we bring guys in, it's a position of need. So we feel really good about bringing those four guys in.
We've kind of seen it over the last couple of months, but how has the transfer portal changed recruiting, just an evaluation and filling out classes? You make decisions on high school, then you got college players with experience coming out. How has that changed things for you?
It changed. One of those deals where you have to adjust with time. With our head coach, Coach Gus Malzahn, he does a great job of just knowing exactly what we want to do, how many high school numbers we want, how many portal numbers we have, and how many we're going to keep left over, because even after the spring, there's going to be other guys. But you have to adjust with time. It's one of those deals where you just have to adjust, and it's big relationships. Guys are like going to guys that they know and different things like that. What I like about it is, as far as the portal, it makes you have a genuine relationship with guys. It makes you keep your word. It makes you, because now guys could just leave and go other places. So that's what I do like about it. But also you gotta have the other side of it, of just sticking out and fighting through, that sort of deal. It's still life lessons as well, as far as just sticking out. But again, you got it, man. It's the portal, and we got to adjust with times. And I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm gonna go find some players.
Coach, both Lee Hunter and Terence Lewis were highly rated high school recruits, but they didn't really pan out or play their freshman season. Terence is dealing with came off a knee injury as well. Is that a concern at all, or do you guys just trust what you saw in high school for them?
I trust what I saw in high school. I wouldn't say pan out. I don't know if you got an ACL, you can't play football. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say a kid didn't pan out. You just haven't had he was injured. And then Lee Hunter, like I did my research, talked to a lot of guys, even at Auburn, talked to him. They say he's a really, really good football player. So, that's what I'm saying. The times of the portal. When I played, guess what? Travis Williams was redshirted. Redshirt freshman year, I was running out on kickoff. Redshirt sophomore year, the third year, that's when I started linebacker. So I don't know about the whole didn't pan out. It just, you got to develop them. You got to give them time. But both of those guys, we're looking forward to those guys being able to help us.
In the back here, how different is this team going to look next year? You lost a ton of guys to the transfer portal. You gained a ton of guys in the transfer portal, and then you're going to have the incoming freshmen. It just seems like it's going to be an entirely different group.
Yeah, that's just, and even like, not to switch subjects, I'm watching basketball last night, and I was watching different teams, and the Kentuckys of the world and the Auburns of the world, like, all of their guys are transfers, and they're top 10 teams, and you got to just adjust with times. Now, you still have to have your high school guys as far as your foundation, but you want to plug in positions of need, so you can continue to grow your team. And I think that's what we're doing here. That's Coach Malzahn's vision. Get a position of need, or not just we turn guys away. It was guys, really good players, but we're not just piling on. Like, we're good at certain positions and certain positions of need that we have to take. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Played at every level. You had Bryson Armstrong last year from FCS, some of the top players in the NFL from the FCS level. So you're getting Kobe Perry, played at Austin Peay. Just talk more about him and what you like about him and what he can provide as an older, more experienced player in the secondary.
Yeah, when he walks in the room, he brings that energy. He loves football. He's working out. You could tell who he is because he's talking and he loves ball. And again, we did our research on him, and to the man, everybody said this kid loves football. So very excited to have him. And again, it's a position of need. He's coming. He's played a lot of ball at Austin Peay. He was player of the year. And again, I like the kid, like being around the kid, and because he's high energy like myself. So I'm glad we got him.
Coach, is your experience, would you consider this an unusual signing day since no high school players were signed, and is this the new norm moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the new norm because we signed all of our guys in December. It's a couple schools that are signing a couple guys, but for the most part, guys are signing in December. For the most part, a lot of guys are signing or enrolling early. So we did a lot of our work at the beginning of it in December, and that's why it helps us to go out in January and really focus on the 23 class because the 22 class was already signed. So that was the advantage for us. So when we were out, we really were getting a jump start on getting information on the 23s instead of doing home visits for 22s and doing different things. We got that done in December, so it was an advantage for us.
You mentioned you have a relationship, going back to early in high school for us, a couple of these guys. When you're recruiting high school kids now, do you mention, hey, we're gonna always be a place for you to come maybe in the future, or is that not even a discussion that comes up?
No, I want to get them I want to get them like right now. I'm sorry, I looked over there because Kobe, y'all gonna see Kobe Perry coming. He gonna light the room up. But anyway, I want to get a kid right now, but I want to build a strong enough relationship. If he goes somewhere and it doesn't work out, my relationship from the past, if it's a kid that we still want, can help us. But it's all about relationships. If you don't have a relationship, you're gonna be behind the 8 ball.
You mentioned Katie McDaniel from Kentucky. I know he's been kind of listed as a linebacker in the past. You described him more as an edge. Is he more like that big cat type?
Yeah, so he's going to be a buck for us. So he's an edge rusher for us. He's a guy that's going to be able to generate some pass rush for us. So he is a outside linebacker.
I know this past weekend, you talked about focusing on upcoming classes, 23s with 22s already done. You had a big event, Hometown Hero. Mm-hmm. I know it seemed like hundreds of guys came through campus over the weekend. How was that event? Just kind of, I know you've seen some of these guys before, but just kind of having that big event and just kind of setting the stage for what you want to do in this next class.
It was huge. Just hats off to Dave Shoemade and Leah Cunningham. We just hired her. She's doing on-campus recruiting as well, the way they had it organized. And we had hundreds. Because I talked to buddies, and some people had like 50 guys. We literally had over 300 kids come through. So, including the 7-on-7s. Matter of fact, it's probably about 500. Including the 7-on-7s, including the invites for the Hometown Hero. It's always good to get those guys on campus. And then when they get here, they're like, oh, man, this is awesome. So, we wanted to keep it, exclusive. And then we was like, you know what? Let's let them come. And it was, real deal players here. So, it's always good to get those type of guys on campus.
I know Coach Malzahn talks about this place being the future of college football. You're going to the Big 12 next year, Power 5, but beating Florida in the bowl game, that's a little bit more recent. How much of an impact did all those things have as you maybe talk to these guys this past weekend? Oh, it's huge. Just just talking to Coach Malzahn, we are the state champs, and that goes a long way, and being able to beat a team like Florida and being able to compete, on a high level, on big-time TV and people watching us, that's always huge. Just going into the Big 12 is things that we're pushing out there. So this 23 class, their first year, will be in the Big 12, and we got a lot of things to sell here. Just a great area, the only football school in the area, and man, it's so much. The weather, it was cold for 3 days last week. Now it's getting back 80 degrees. So it's just so much to sell here. And again, Coach Malzahn's vision, the future of college football, and he really believes it. We believe it, and we know this right here is a gold mine. So we're looking forward to the future. There we go. Charge on. All right.